YouTube or Facebook? Okay, yes, we are live on YouTube. So now over here to Facebook Live Producer. Go live. All right, looks like we are now live on Back in the Day.
No, we're live and I'm, picking my nose. Okay.
It's recorded now. Too late. You can't take it back. It's there.
It was a scratch.
It was. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, if we're talking Seinfeld, it was a scratch. No pick.
Already, man.
Right.
Already.
Right off. This has become the tradition. The tradition is we immediately just step off the wrong step 2 seconds into the show. I don't know why, but
Oh God.
I don't know what spurred it, but the way it started, it's okay. It's good.
We could have an intro like Jim Nance, like the Masters, like a tradition like no other.
Agreed. Oh my God.
There's nothing wrong.
Oh my goodness. So happy Thursday, happy pre-Memorial weekend.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, happy pre-holiday weekend. You guys have any big old plans for the Memorial Day weekend?
No.
Son and daughter-in-law and grandkids coming over for steaks.
There you go.
That's about it. Well, tomorrow night I'm hosting the outdoor screening of Jaws in Topeka at their man-made beach. So
sweet.
Very nice.
That'll be fun.
Very nice. It's like big, like outside, inflatable screen, or what are they doing?
I don't know. I've never been there. I assume inflatable screens. They do it at some of the parks around here as well. But it's the first time I've ever seen them do Jaws, and they reached out, and yeah, I'll come talk, and
that'd be great.
Some shirts and some books, and
that would be cool.
Spread the gospel.
Yeah, very good.
The gospel of Bruce.
Gospel of Bruce. Don't do the cross. Just do the fin. Just do the fin. The power of Bruce compels you.
They did do an Exorcist shark movie. Do you know that, right?
No.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
There was either Shark Exorcist or Exorcist Shark movie. Yeah.
The Exorcist Shark.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah, it was controlled by an evil spirit.
Add that to our list if we ever get around to doing the watch a movie thing.
All we have to do right now is put dates down. We're good.
All right.
Oh my God, that would be really cool for people during summer break.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Summertime, it's literally around the corner. We can start rolling these out. So, as a matter of fact, I talked to Martin to kind of get the lowdown the other week is exactly how he does it and stuff. And so I believe I can stop wussing out on us here. We can get this thing rolling.
Sweet. I'm in.
I'm always in.
I'm in for that.
Should be fun. Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, on us here, we can get this thing rolling. Get us.
I'm rolling. I'm already rolling and doing other stupid stuff.
Alrighty.
I'm not necessarily rolling. I'm just doing stupid stuff. It really doesn't go anywhere. It just happens to be there. So just ask my wife; she'll tell you.
Oh my God!
What?
I'm sorry. Bear Manor, my publisher, Lee Gambin, who's a good friend of mine. I've contributed to a couple of his books. He does a lot of the Kino Lorber commentaries. Ben, my publisher, just posted R.I.P. Lee. Oh my God.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Really?
Oh
man, I'm sorry.
Very sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Oh, breaking news in the pop culture world.
We've lost a
Wow.
couple of this. Yeah, we've lost a couple this past week,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Wow.
Oh, I wonder what happened. He always posts about his dog, and he does so many great commentaries. He works a lot with Britannia Alda, who is an actress, and you probably best remember as John Savage's wife in The Deer Hunter. And they've done a lot of stuff together. And he wrote a couple books about special TV episodes. Very tonight on a very special. And I contributed like 3 or 4 essays to both of the books. Okay, well, when we're off the air, I will find out what happened. I'm very sorry to hear that. My thoughts and prayers are with his family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, golly, so sorry to hear that, guys.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Well, then our condolences, absolutely, and maybe we'll just dedicate this TV special to
and it's
Lee.
fitting. It's fitting that we're doing. Fitting that we're doing TV because that's he wrote a lot
there you
about
go.
it.
Okay, well, I'm in for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Dedicated to 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we got hey, Vic's popping in saying hello. Mark saying hello to everyone. Hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
Good to hear from you. Good to see you back. You guys have been as active as ever. Seeing those guys pop up all the time on the sites. Contributing. Mark just celebrated a birthday, I believe. It was just his birthday.
Yes,
happy
he did.
Birthday out to him. Yeah. He had a post up the other day. He was out. I think I saw him. He was out golfing on the green. He was wearing green. He was saying how he looked so terrible in green. Like, he didn't look terrible in green. I mean, you can't blame the color of your shirt on your golf game. You just can't do that, Mark.
But the people you go bowling with and they throw the ball wrong and they look at their thumb like it's the thumb's fault. No, it's what's attached to the thumb.
Kidding, Mark. I have zero golf prowess whatsoever. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, we had a phys ed teacher whose love for golf was more passionate than anything else. And he made the dumb mistake of taking our senior class after doing some lessons out to his home golf course. I don't think he ever was asked back. I mean, we were just morons. Complete. I mean, trying to hit people with the other tees, with the balls. I mean, just idiots. I mean, yeah, that was the extent of my golf. And I'm a lefty, so I couldn't even borrow clubs from anybody anyway. So
I can't even play the course that has the windmill. I can't even do it. I don't like it. No.
You turned into Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, exactly. Then all of a sudden, alligator in there.
Miniature golf gets competitive. I'm sorry. It does.
That and bingo, I swear.
Oh, big! Listen. You get taken out over a bad bingo call, man. Those little gray blue-haired ladies, man. They get cutthroat with bingo. Yeah.
I used to go with my Aunt Mildred every Monday night. She would go, and it's when they first started with the daubers, and she would buy 6 sheets that had 9 games each on them, and she'd spread them out, and she'd just be like, everyone they called. And every now and then I just, excuse myself and I'd be like, hello. And then, everybody stops. And then you get the people that are, just playing one sheet and they crumble it up. And then it's like, okay, who had a bingo? Like nobody raises their hand.
Poor Mike's out in the parking lot with 24 old ladies. Son of a...
I need a
shitty pie for you.
Bingo, my yeah, right. Oh my god,
72 right here.
Look like C-3PO getting carried away by the Ewoks. Like Mike getting carried away by the old ladies with bingo cards. They just throw. Oh my gosh! All right, well.
So eventually we might get to what we're supposed to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm about to bring it up here. Yeah, enough of the stalling, right? Hey, Sonia popped on, said, looking fabulous there, Janie. Said, love you guys. So funny. So
Hey,
good to
darling.
hear from you, Sonia. Thanks for joining us.
And some Celtics
Yeah,
fans.
this
Good to
week has
see.
been really busy, Sonia. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I thought, and it's kind of ironic, I guess, with some of the news we just found out. I thought it was interesting to celebrate some people I've seen pop up lately on both ends of our spectrum. And one is we lost Jeremy Bullock, the original
yeah,
Boba Fett,
Boba Fett.
passed
Boba.
away this week. Yeah, original Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back. And we also had a big birthday in the Jaws world. That's Mr. Joe Alves.
Joseph
Happy
Alves.
birthday,
88.
Joe.
88.
Yeah, 88. 88.
Looks better than I do.
Doing well. Yeah, seems
It's
to be
good,
doing
Dad.
really well. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to kind of kick that off a little bit. Well, so tonight we are talking about TV shows, like finales of TV shows, and some that were very memorable, maybe some that weren't, maybe some that kind of went the other way, and honestly, a lot of conjecture, a lot of personal views and opinions, but try and maybe hit on a couple, maybe say from each era, and maybe kind of
Yeah.
get some views and opinions of what you guys feel, or maybe some shows that we don't hit on. Bring the topic up and let's get some information going here.
Alrighty.
That'd be great. Okay. So I thought I'd start us off. Try to pick a middle ground. What decade do I start? What type of show, or even what era of show? So I thought, why not start with something we probably all know, because we're all
Yeah.
pretty much in the same generation here, and Happy Days was just a big one. It really was.
Yeah.
I want to say for all of us, you had a bunch of spin-offs coming off of it,
No?
and stuck around for quite a long time. I mean, quite a few different seasons. I want to say I just saw it was just put back out again. You can go out and I guess repurchase. They've done some updates on the
Oh.
seasons. You can buy digitally, I believe, as opposed to on DVD. So they're still floating around there. So I had to go back and rewatch chunks of the original finale to remember some of the specific details. I mean, I remember, Joni and Chachi. I want to say getting back together. I think didn't they like split up right before or whatever?
Then they got married and they moved somewhere. And they only lived there for like 3 weeks. I think that's as long as their spinoff.
Yeah.
Spinoff
Yeah.
lasted.
The Joni loves Chachi.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Fonzie got married.
Yeah.
He married little Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist was his stepdaughter.
Oh yeah. Linda Pearlman was the
Yeah.
actress, I think. Linda Pearl. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she played the mom. That was
Yeah,
Fonzie
Richie was a journalist somewhere.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
It was a good show. I mean, I always enjoyed it. I remember, a lot of people don't, Happy Days. Happy Days was actually based on an episode of Love American Style
Wow.
that
Mhm.
Gary Marshall proposed as a pilot, and nobody wanted it. And then after that aired, American Graffiti came out, and all of a something, everything, everybody wanted retro stuff back from the '60s, and ABC already had Gary Marshall. They had, they had Ronnie Howard, so they just went ahead with Happy Days. And Ron Howard told a story that Fonzie was the breakout star, and after the first season, ABC called him and said, "Hey, we want to call the show Fonzie's Happy Days." And Richie said, "You do what you want," or Ronnie Howard said, "Do what you want, but I won't be a part of it." And then he later said that Henry Winkler didn't know they were doing that, because he and Henry Winkler are great friends. But that just tells you how shady TV is sometimes. But yeah, entertaining. I was hoping that Big Brother Chuck, either one, would show up at the end in the finale, but they didn't.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that used to be like a well-hidden little faction that people weren't aware of. Because he was in one episode, 2 maybe, something like that.
I think 2 or 3.
He was at the very beginning.
Yeah, he went upstairs after dinner with his basketball. He never came down.
So. And he never came down. So he's probably still up in that room somewhere with Marion's pot roast. Yeah. Who knows?
Trapped in the attic.
Yeah.
And I want to say that my remembrance, the age that I was when this hit, when I saw Ron Howard come out, he looked like he aged 20 years. He came out, he had a mustache,
Yeah.
kind of out a little more. I'm going, holy cow! Like, what happened? What happened to him? Because the way he was portrayed, and he always was a very young face looking kid. I mean, even now, his age now, you still look at him and you go, it's a kid from Happy Days. I don't care how old he is. I mean,
unless he takes the hat off with the head, it's like, okay, you're older than me, but otherwise, yeah.
I think he's starting to favor his dad a lot now that he's older. Yeah. He's starting to look like his dad.
Yeah. And he's still very relevant, still doing a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah.
Great director. Great filmmaker.
Yeah, his daughter's doing very well.
Yeah. And did he have a little bit of tie-in with some of the directing of this episode? Am I right?
I don't know. I don't know if he did or not, or if he worked on it. I mean, when he wanted to leave the show, they said, "Hey, I know you want to direct. You can direct the show," but he wanted to do movies. That's what he went to school for.
Sure.
But I'm sure bringing him back, I'm sure he had some kind of creative input. I don't know. He wasn't like Alan Alda with MASH, but he had. I'm sure he had a lot to say.
And he and oh gosh, I'll go with names right away. I'm sorry, Henry Winkler. On top of being really, really good friends and constantly being in contact, are always bouncing things back and forth. Winkler has kind of, you see him doing commercials and stuff like that. And he popped up in a couple of movies. Has become a bit of an author for children's books. I don't know if you guys knew that. And he suffered from dyslexia, and so I want to say they've made some connections with each other on a professional level because of that. And he goes,
He was the first interview for, well, back then we were movie mics. Henry Winkler was our first interview.
Oh, wow. Really? Very, very nice gentleman. Very down to earth. I listened to a bunch of interviews. The local radio station out of Philadelphia I still listen to. They podcast their morning shows now. I listen to them. And he's on probably once, twice a year. And he's just an incredible guy. Like, it's almost like you're hanging out with like the cool tough guy version of like God, I don't know, like your favorite TV show, host. Like he was, the leather jacket tough guy. He's just so nice, so down to earth. I mean, very much. Yeah.
And that leather jacket's now in Washington D.C.
Yes, that's right.
At the Smithsonian. Yep.
With Archie Bunker's chair and I think the captain's chair from the Enterprise. Good company.
Yeah.
Good company.
Very good. So, kind of backward just a tad bit more. Brady Bunch. Were you guys big Brady Bunch fans?
Yes.
Were you?
Yeah.
Both that and the Partridge Family. I didn't choose. It wasn't like you had to be one or the other. I just watched them both.
I was more Brady than I was.
Yeah. Juanita was a Partridge Family.
So was I. I was a Partridge Family because of the music tie-in, maybe. Brady Bunch, not so much. I would watch it here and there. It would be on, but I can't say I really went out of my way to watch it. And even some of the specials they had, I never did you guys ever do any of the, they had like a live variety show for a while too. Mm-hmm. Never really got into that. Yeah, you guys watch that? Okay.
Sing and dance and Jerry Reichel, who I think is a member of our page, the fake Jan, they call her. She replaced Eve Plum. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Then they kept going on to they did a serious drama, like a soap opera. Yeah, Brady Bunch. Yeah, Brady Bunch is never.
But
never going away.
I don't know if a lot of people realize that this was actually based on a movie. Did you know that?
Oh, really? Did not.
Oh, yeah. It's a Jamie's fact.
Seriously, it is. It's actually kind of based on the movie Yours, Mine, Yours, and what is it? Yours, Mine, and Ours with Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball. And Tim Matheson played the oldest son. It was one of his very first films that he did, but it's based kind of loosely on that movie. how the two families come together. If you ever saw
I love
it's
that
a great
movie. I love that movie. It was just on the other night, and I watched
Yes.
it. But like 3 years ago, little Philip North,
Oh, yeah.
Lucille Ball's youngest kid, he wrote a
Yes.
book. He wrote a book and said that the Henry Fonda, the father, was a bastard and beat the kids. And it's like, you just crushed.
Oh, really?
Now instead, I watch with 6 you get egg roll with Brian Keith and Doris Day. So that's basically the same thing, but less kids. But yeah, I was like, why would you? Yeah. So.
Oh, that's so sad. When Universal Studios, when they had the tribute to Lucy in Orlando, they had her wedding outfit, her wedding dress that she wore in that movie, and it was probably one of the most elegant things I'd ever seen. It was very simple. It was like a suit. The color was like a teal or a blue or something, but it was completely beautiful. But but I believe that's what the Brady Bunch was based off, was that movie.
Wow.
Do you know who the network wanted to play Mike Brady?
No.
Gene Hackman.
No.
Gene Hackman.
Can you imagine?
Yes. But Sherwood Schwartz talked him into
Robert Reed?
Robert Reed, thank you.
Robert Reed, yeah. And he was a classically trained actor. I think that was one of the problems. You know, there was so much animosity between him and the show, and
the scripts,
and he wouldn't say certain things, and he started drinking. Or would show up after he'd be drinking.
Gene Hackman going, Bobby, you pick your feet. You pick your feet on the end. Yeah. Robert Reed didn't like some of the scripts. The last episode here, this is the only episode that he doesn't appear in because he walked off. He wasn't. Yeah, he said, "I'm not doing this because, why would Greg dye his hair orange before the thing?" And he thought, they'll bring me back next year, but there was no next year. So,
yeah, he thought it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, because you remember they had the variety show, and then they had like the movies when the girls get older, and then they get married and they live together, and then they had the movies with Shelley Long and all.
Very cool.
But and in the second one, in the second Brady movie, Tim Matheson comes back as her husband. So it kind of comes back full circle. He started in Yours, Mine, and Ours, and then plays the husband in the Brady Bunch movie. Yeah, so he kind of came full circle with that.
Wow. Man, I gotta throw some up for you guys here. Look at that. Mike's fact, Jenny's fact.
And also,
go ahead.
Was the season of Cousin Oliver, Robbie Wrist, who I also think is a member of the page, but like Ricky Siegel on the Partridge Family, Cousin Oliver kind of killed the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, and I was going back and trying to catch some of the controversy with the dad not being in the final episode of this, and apparently he was offered 2 times to come in and be in the episode, and then still were flatly refused, and then decided to show up on the set when they were getting ready to shoot it, and was purposely standing in the eye line of the kids, and they said it was throwing the kids off so bad. They finally said, "Hey, go back to your trailer, do something, get out of here. But you're not going to be here and cause a problem." And he, I guess, more or less wouldn't do it. Finally left, and then the phone calls started to come in, and the writer finally called up. I'm trying to think of what was it, with producing company? Was it Paramount? I don't know who it was.
I think it was Paramount.
Was it Paramount? And said, just letting you know, this was his decision, and this is how I'm handling it. And they said, fine, all good. So they backed him on it, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. So he kind of drew his own line in the sand there and had to walk the walk. So yeah. Yeah.
It's a shame.
Got a couple comments here. We got what do we got? Mark Ames. My mom used to torture me by making me watch the Waltons, and Anna Green Gables too.
Waltons was awesome. Waltons was awesome.
No, I don't live that far from where the actual house is. I think it's in West Virginia or something.
It's funny because Richard Thomas, John Boy, is now doing To Kill a Mockingbird on stage.
Yeah, he's playing Atticus.
Yeah, he's playing Atticus.
Really?
Apparently, there's a part in the show where he says goodnight to the kids, and he'll say, like, goodnight, Jim. And people in the audience yell out, "Goodnight, John Boy." So,
oh, no, really?
Yes.
Can you get away from that? Oh, my God.
I love it. I love it.
We got someone chiming in about, the Partridge Family, 1971 and 1974. Mm-hmm. And then what else do we got here? Yeah, great episode when Greg got his hair dyed by the hair tonic. Yeah. Good stuff. Wow. I was not a Walton guy either, guys. I'm sorry. I feel terrible. Just couldn't bring it. Little House on the Prairie. Love that. Couldn't do the Waltons. Don't ask me why. I just could never get
Little House on the Prairie. That was a sad episode. That last episode was really, that made me really, really sad what they did.
Yeah, well, if you go in and read some of her actual memoirs, I mean, there was a lot of sadness going on in the Pioneer life, Really was.
Yeah, I just caught that last episode. Somebody had put it on TikTok or something like that, and because they just had a gathering actually on the ranch where they filmed Little House on the Prairie because it's the 50th anniversary of Little House, and the majority of the cast was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised that didn't pop across any of our media sites. I didn't see anything on that. That's interesting.
Well, maybe I should start doing that.
Yeah, I gotta start looking.
I see something, I'll post it. Yeah, absolutely. But Melissa Gilbert, Nellie was there. Nellie's brother, Ma was there. There was a lot of people that were still there.
And both looked.
Who was the mean girl?
Allison Agron or Allison Agnon. Anyway, her name's Allison, but she played Nellie. Mm-hmm. Nellie Olson, and she was there. And actually, and her and Melissa Gilbert were really good friends during the whole show. They were like the best of friends, and then had to play against each other when the show had started.
Yeah. Mark's asking, Little House. What's the one with Michael Landon? That was Little House. Yeah, that was Little House on the Prairie with Michael Landon.
That was Little House on the Prairie. Yeah.
Yep.
Or Highway to Heaven.
I was going to say Highway to Heaven. Yeah.
Bonanza, Little Joe.
Bonanza, Werewolf. I was a teenage werewolf. Of course, that was a movie, though. Yeah.
Lenora May, who was one of the original cast members of Jaws 2, got hired by Michael Landon to work on Little House, and she said he was the nicest, kindest person she'd ever met, which I believe because he just came across that way. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of and his daughter right now plays plays Tater on Yellowstone.
Tater, yeah,
that's Michael Landon's daughter.
Nice.
Oh wow!
I don't know if Yellowstone's coming back because Kevin Costner's movie got a 7-minute standing ovation at Cannes this week. So
did it? It looks good.
Yeah, it does look good, but. I'm thinking they come back, John Dutton's dead, I'm sure. So,
What do we got here? We got Canadian Bernard Slade was the creator of the Partridge Family, and the Canadian Dave Madden was Reuben Kincaid.
I loved Reuben. Reuben was funny. He was probably
Dave Madden had the most distinct voice. I mean, up till he died, he was like the Denny's on radio, Denny's radio ads.
Yeah.
He was like the Denny's spokes, but he just had that great voice. And he and Danny Bonaducci just played off each other so well.
Yes. Yeah.
And how is Danny Bonaducci doing with his health-wise these days? Is he, anyone knows he's stable? He was really got into physical fitness, quit drinking, all that good stuff. And it was incredible. Amazing condition and shape and all that stuff. And next thing you know, you see him and he's really frail. Looks like he lost a ton of body mass. And he had a really successful podcast or radio show.
When I was in Seattle, for the ill-fated Bruce the Musical. He was on the air there. He was a disc jockey in Seattle.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah. So I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he is. I know he was really struggling. I forget what he was diagnosed with, but it was very life altering, unfortunately. So hopefully he's hopefully found some middle ground. Yeah. All right. So what do we got up here next on the block? Nash.
Oh,
Nash. Yeah. I tried to pull just a generic shot up, but I also wanted to throw in a little glimpse of some of the final episode with a goodbye there at the bottom. And I couldn't recall a whole lot other than a lot of the monologue by, and of course I don't know the name. There's the gentleman's name on the right middle. His real name.
Who, Hawkeye?
Yes. What's his real name?
That's Alan Alda, honey.
Alan Alda. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I do remember his.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember his dialogue telling the story about, I think it was like the lady or whatever, like, I don't know, took the chickens or something like that. You know.
He was on a bus.
He was on a bus.
And a bus, in his story, a bus full of chickens, and they were being they were around by the Red Army, and the chicken kept making noise, and he said, "Can you shut that chicken up?" And then she smothers it, and then he realizes that she killed her baby.
Her child.
That's what sets him up. It's a great episode because it's very dramatic, but it's still very funny and it's very sad. And I think it is still the most watched scripted show in the
finale.
History of television.
It still ranks number one to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To this, and I mean, you figure, when did it go off the air? Was it 84?
83, because we were watching it and my phone rang like 10 minutes before the end, and it was my friend Taylor White in California where it hadn't aired yet. I remember answering the phone saying, "I don't know anybody who would call me with 10 minutes left in the last match." And he said, oh my God, I forgot it's on. Goodbye, click. So, yeah. But, yeah. A great episode that Alan Alda wrote and directed.
Oh, wow.
He, in his 3-year span, he won Emmys for acting, writing, and directing. Madge.
Now, did they do a lot of trade-offs? Would they have different actors write some of the episodes, or was it much more control for Matt?
He after the 3rd year, I think, he was a creative consultant, and then he was pretty much him and Larry Gelbart were the vision behind the show, and he had script approval for everything, and he wrote some great episodes on his own, and yeah, he turned into a very talented man, filmmaker too, with the Four Seasons and Betsy's Wedding and other things. So yeah,
I have a very minute connection there. My only connection to any type of Hollywood. I had a great aunt who lived till I was about 9 or 10, who somehow there was a family connection, like cousins or second cousins, with Lily and Gish, and they would write back and forth to each other. I can remember that as a kid. My great aunt Laura writing Lily, who lived out on the West Coast, and the first time I saw her in a movie was her last movie, and I believe it was with Alan Alda.
Oh.
Can't even tell you the name of it off the top of my head.
Betsy's Wedding?
No, she wasn't in Betsy's Wedding.
I'd have to deep dive that real quick.
I'm looking.
Was it one of his movies or just a movie he was in?
I want to say it was just a movie that he was in, but I could be very easily mistaken on that.
I don't know, but Mike mentioned one of my favorite movies with him in it, and I love The Four Seasons. That movie's hilarious to me.
Sweet Liberty.
That's what it is.
That's right, with Michelle Pfeiffer.
What it is. Yeah. Yes.
Sweet Liberty.
Wow.
Which he also wrote and directed. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I forgot about that movie.
Very nice. Another fact going up there. Brain's quicker than my hands on a Google page.
So Danny Bonaducci,
Mm-hmm.
his issue is that he has a condition called hydrocephalus, which is basically fluid in the head. It's
in the brain, right?
Brain.
Oh, wow.
Post surgery.
Like the Elephant Man? Did he have that?
Like he had something. He had a different type of a condition, but almost similar. Like there's a lot of fluid around it.
Oh.
So, but it was due post surgery, from what I can read. So,
interesting.
That happened last year.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I saw a picture of him. And it was dramatic, the change, because he had just was in incredible shape, and all of a sudden, just looked extremely frail, very thin. Looked like he aged rather quickly. Yeah. Yeah.
He has an Instagram account, so that's good. So, but he does look frail. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very active. All right, we got a couple comments here. We got after MASH was a disaster. I'm assuming that was tried to rekindle.
Yeah.
Got number one MASH 105 million for the final episode. Cheers was number 2 at 80 million. And The Fugitive, 1967, 78 million, which is kind of ironic for a show that has not been on in well over 50 years of the original Fugitive.
Yeah, but that was, you only had 3 channels, and everybody was watching.
No cable.
It's like September 17th, 1967, the day the running stopped. I still remember that narration from The Fugitive. Yeah, my dad loved that show. David Jansen. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And if your parents didn't have a remote control, you were the remote control to change those 3 channels.
Yep.
I don't remember remote controls, and I lived out next to a farm, out from town. Yeah. So you were like,
yeah, exactly. With the rabbit ears, and going, no, there, stop.
so I could get the channel. So I could get the channel out of Philadelphia, so I could watch Ultraman. Man, I'd get ticked off. It all phase out. Or the old Godzilla movies, or Saturday afternoon Kung Fu theater. Oh man, you had to everything had to be just right,
Man, those were the days.
Dating myself on those. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I thought
my favorite.
Bring up Cheers, because right around the same time period, Cheers was one of the first shows that I remember as a family in my house sitting around and watching, and I want to say it was Thursday night when Cheers would come on.
It was
the new episode. And that was one of the first shows I can remember that my entire family would everyone was on the TV, whatever time, 8 o'clock it came on or 9 o'clock it came on, and all sat and watched it, and everyone loved it. My stepdad loved it. My little brother, I did, my mom. Yeah. One of the first shows that we all sat and did. Yeah. And that show went through a lot of changes. You almost think about that now, if you have that many major character changes, that eventually it's going to be the death of it. And it survived pretty much every single one and came out swinging for the most part.
Really and I think that's because it was really an ensemble show. It wasn't the Sam Malone show. It wasn't, the Cliff Clavin show. Everybody kind of interacted and did their own part. And that's what I think kept it going, because they were likable people. You liked hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of people that had very diverse backgrounds and did a lot of other things. I mean, come on, Cliff Clavin, Empire Strikes Back. You know what I mean? And that's when I would see them. I go, that's just it. You go, oh, it's Cliff or Norm. You go, Norm, what are you doing in house? Just great characters. Shelley Duvall. I mean, she was in quite a few things. She had, what was the other sitcom that she had years later?
Who's Shelley Long?
Shelley Long. I'm sorry. Yes. She had a movie that she did really well in. I thought she had another sitcom, didn't she?
She left Cheers to be a movie star, and it didn't work out for her.
It didn't pan out. I think she had one movie that hit pretty hard. She kind of played almost like
Outrageous Fortune with her and Bette Midler, but I'm pretty sure Bette Midler was the draw for that. And then she did like Troop Beverly Hills and
Troop Beverly Hills. Yeah,
she was doing guest spots on Cheers. So yeah.
Victor says, I visited both Cheers restaurants in Boston. I have been there and had a great time, but unfortunately, bad story. We went there and it was my wife and my son and I, and said, have to have a beer in Boston. And we were in Boston, and I ordered myself a Sam Adams Boston Red. It's only brewed and distributed within the city limits, so I had to have one of those. My wife ordered a Blue Moon, and that was the last beer she had, and that was, I don't know, my son was like 7. My son's 19 now. She got horrendously ill. I'm talking horribly sick.
Oh, wow.
I mean, for most of the rest of the trip, for the next like 4 or 5 days, I mean, for the next 2 or 3 days, I don't think she went out. I mean, she was just horribly ill. And ironically, I had gone the next day to Sam Adams, the original brewery. And after they were going through the whole thing, they were telling us some of the things that, what makes their beer, the purity of Sam Adams and why it is what it is. And one of the things they said was they would never allow a beer on tap anywhere unless they go in and physically inspect the tap system and the lines, because more times than not, they're so contaminated with mold and things.
Oh.
They didn't want people getting sick because of it or changing the taste of the beer. And I went, holy crap, that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
That's why she was sick. Yeah.
So we loved it, but poor Jen got poisoned and banished from beer for life at Cheers, unfortunately.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
That's more beer for me. I'm not really.
See, we went to the one at Faneuil Hall because that was the closest we were at, and I had the best food there. I really did. It was so good. It was so good. So I always tell everybody, at least go and say you were there. To at least say I was there. Yeah.
Boston itself, Mark's chiming in here saying I'll be near there when I head to the Vineyard. I think he's going there. And so take the train to South Station. Yeah. Mark, honestly, take a day and get a ticket for the trolley system. Yeah, that runs around Boston to go down and hit Boston Commons, the Old Market, do some of the Freedom Trail. It really is a great city to go spend in time. And if you have a chance, we did a couple days and just had an absolute blast. You come out of there and your accent is spot on.
Yep.
Spot on. After 3 days, you've got it.
Go see Paul Revere's little tiny house.
Yeah.
How people lived back then. I would have been like a giant.
Oh my gosh. and literally butting up against the street. And Old Town Boston, like, thank God we would drive into the tunnel. We would get a parking garage. Thank God I didn't try and drive down in through Old Town Boston. And I drove a Chevy Silverado. Those damn streets were like 8 feet across.
Yeah.
No. And navigating Old Town, because Boston changed many times. They just kept adding landfill to make Boston bigger, and so it's the weirdest place to try and get around.
The cemetery is really cool to go and look at as well because it's so educational, especially with the Declaration of Independence and how it all started, the Freedom Trail and all that. But Benjamin Franklin's parents are buried there.
Really?
Wow.
Oh my God!
Yep.
Guys, I'm handing these out like Tic Tacs tonight. What's going on here? another fact here, man. Wearing this stuff out here.
When it comes to Boston, I'm your girl.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there, and even the surrounding area, Salem, great town, and I know it gets all the. I know it gets all the attraction for the witch stuff, but it's very much such a cool port town. So many cool things going on. Braintree's a great place.
Oh, absolutely. Salem is basically what one of my doctors I used to work with, Jane's family reunion is in Salem. So, yeah.
Yeah, Lizzie Borden's house. Someone's chiming in.
I want to go to Lizzie Borden's house.
That's one place I have not been. We were up there. Lizzie Borden's house.
I think it's for sale. You can get a bed and breakfast.
It is a bed and breakfast. I do know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to go so bad.
I wonder if you can go spend the night.
You could at one point, but I think, like Mike says, it's for sale again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, beyond just a bed and breakfast, like, yeah.
But they used to be able to, where when you toured the home before you went across the street where there's evidence and things like that. But when you toured the home, at the end of it, they gave you like little sugar cookies in the shape of axes, and right at where that blade was red icing. So that's what I want. I want the cookie. I'm not staying in that sucker, but I want the cookie.
That's marketing. That's people know what
there
they got.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and that's kind of what kicked off forensics. I want to say, isn't that right? Wasn't that early stages of like forensics evidence?
Yes, because of the way that the injury was, or the blunt trauma on the father's skull, and I think there's a replica of it in there. So yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, so we slide through a couple of years here. Here's one that was just an amazing show. Did you guys watch St. Elsewhere?
Yeah.
Speaking of Boston, we're talking about Boston. I had to follow up Cheers with St. Elsewhere. Just a great show, and so many people that went on to have incredible careers came out of the show. I mean, really.
Look at Denzel.
Comedians, serious actors. I mean, anyone and everyone. I mean, just pretty much everyone pictured right here. And there's a lot of people that aren't pictured in this show that were in that show. And for it to end the way that it did, I have to say that for me, it was one of the worst endings I think I've ever seen to a show. And I don't mean to speak poorly about it. I just don't. I mean, I shouldn't say it's the worst. I don't want to say that. I don't think it did the show justice. I think it'd have been better off just like people like clocking out and going home for the night, saying bye, see ya, because it's a hospital. It's just going to keep going on, or maybe
like Hill Street Blues. Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
They had a fire in the station, and then the last scene is the phone ringing and the cop answering, going Hill Street. So it's going to go on. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking about on St. Elsewhere, but yeah, it really. I mean, I was like, oh, really?
Oh my gosh!
Everybody wants to be different and have that memorable finale, but this is memorable for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that came out of that was like a cheap grasp at straws. I hate to condemn it, but I mean, you guys at home, if you're not familiar, so the whole show, which was just amazing, constantly, everything they did, even down to like the effects of the scenes and how realistic they said it was compared to anything on the TV, and the building of the characters over time. And what do? At the end, you look in the front of the hospital, it pans out, you're looking at the hospital snow globe, and it was a boy. I wish I could remember the actor who played the boy. And the whole show was his imagination. He was an autistic boy, and the father's sitting there going, I don't know where he gets his imagination from, and it was simply all conjured up in the boy's mind. The entire show for how many seasons. I just didn't think it did it justice. Yeah.
But it gave us Denzel, so.
And Howie Mandel.
Yeah,
well, Howie Mandel, that's right. I'm
not counting that as positive.
Well, you got Ed Begley Jr. there. I mean, Ed Begley Jr. is funny. And...
He's been on my Deadpool for 25 years.
This is probably where he got his OCD from. Was probably working on the show. Yeah, he does. Washing the hands a million times and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. Like,
and it had that show had a memorable theme song as well.
Yeah, it did.
Enjoyed it really whenever I heard it. So
yeah, Howie Mandel was up there with David Schwimmer in my book.
Yeah, and the Goose. The Goose was in it.
Goose was in it. Yep.
Goose was in it. Yeah, you betcha.
Ed Begley Jr., William Daniels. Yeah.
Feeny. No, I'm kidding.
Someone's asking why Howie Mandel was in that show. He was an incredible dramatic actor in that show. He really was.
Yeah, he was. He really didn't play a comic at the time, but he was just now starting to go out. I mean, he was touring. He started at a comedy club. I can't remember which one, but that's pretty much when he started his career. Was around that same time.
I
He
think
was
it was
doing
called
comedy.
Shitties. It was the comedy club he was at.
Which one was it?
Shitties.
Go figure, really.
No, it wasn't. I just think that there's nothing funny about Howie Mandel, nothing redeeming about Howie Mandel.
I remember.
How long can you live off the fact that they use some of your voice to be a gremlin? Big deal.
Yeah. He would come out with the big white. He had it looked like a purse, but it was like a white glove.
Yeah.
Like a handbag, and that, and he would do the voice, like little blue squishy things, and that was part of his act. Yeah, I do remember that. Okay, well, as we kind of working our way from the 80s, start to get into the 90s here, we got to bring up Seinfeld. Got to bring up Seinfeld. And
why?
when I first watched the final episode of this, that was kind of me. I was like, come on, and now looking back at it and trying to see the vision of the writers and the directors, it was pretty ingenious, even though maybe it didn't come off very well, because it really,
you bring everybody back. I mean, that was the highlight. You get to see all the recurring characters come back.
All the returning characters, to prosecute them, to show how bad of people they were, that they were not great people. I mean, they really, the little idiosyncrasies and how they viewed and judged other people. It was kind of brilliant when you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a finale that's grown in likability since it aired, because you can kind of look back and say, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, now I see what they were doing.
Yeah, they march them off to the jail cell. I got a quick little clip here, and then they're all face to face with each other, and it's like the same conversation every day.
Yeah, it's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Nothing changes, and they immediately go back to picking someone apart. So it was. I thought that part was done well. Let me pull a quick.
The only thing I can say about Seinfeld is that because of the whole soup Nazi thing going on, that's what the Mrs. Chief over there, Juanita, and I, when we go to Backdoor Donuts, we were standing in line, and they were just like, "Okay, what do you guys want? What kind of donut do you want? We got to go. We got to get this started." And she goes, "Oh my God, it's like a donut Nazi from Seinfeld." And I said,
"The donut Nazi."
So whenever we go, so we call each other.
I remember that pressure, and it wasn't the big production that it is now. And I remember walking up, and I'm standing in line, and if you remember, it just had a little sign on the door, and they would come out and go, one piece of paper, here's what we got, and so there was a cop or security guard that stopped, and he was in line in front of me, and I said, "Hey, come on, what do you recommend? You're local." He goes, "Get the Charlie. It's good." So I get the Charlie. It was the donut hot, because everything comes out of there so hot you can barely hold it.
Yes.
In the bottom of the cup, puts the ice cream on top, and the ice cream is melting in your hand because the donut is so fresh. Yeah, killer stuff though. The apple fritters are my favorite though.
No, mine too.
Oh my gosh.
It is number one on our list. So we are going to give a shout out to Backdoor Donuts tonight.
Oh, listen.
They'll be proud sponsors of Let's Talk Jaws Live, I'm sure.
There you go. Listen, I'm all for it.
Listen, them and off. Go ahead.
Okay, speaking of the soup Nazi, Larry Thomas is a member of our page.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
He was here last year at Fanboy here in Knoxville.
Yeah, he's a member back in the day, for a long time.
My jaw just dropped on that one. Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Although he was not my favorite character. You know who my favorite character was? I don't know the guy's name. It was, "You're a very, very, very bad man." He was hysterical. I don't know what his name was.
Not a poo, but something like that.
No, I think
it was something along those lines. Yeah.
Big finger.
And then he
his
wound up
finger.
playing Rod's dad on Big Bang Theory.
Yes, he did. You're right.
Yeah.
Babu.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right?
No,
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think that's what it was, Babu. Yeah, Babu. Because Apu is with Simpsons. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple people chiming in said that episode was so stupid. Once Larry David left in '96, Seinfeld sucked. Loved it until the last year. I just rewatched all the Seinfelds on I don't know what streaming service about 2 years ago from beginning to end, and had forgotten how great some of those episodes were. Even some of the early stuff when Kramer was still really kind of developing as a character, and just genius. Did you happen to see Jerry Seinfeld's new movie?
Yes.
On Netflix.
Yes, I've got a review. I'll be posting my review tomorrow on.
Oh, really?
Okay. Oh, there we go.
I'll check it out. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, but
I mean, for us, grew up and cereal was the big meal when we were kids. Your breakfast.
Something to watch over Memorial Day then.
Yeah.
Bowl of cereal and Saturday morning cartoons, baby.
Yep.
Of course, I used to end a lot of nights with a bowl of cereal, though, too.
Listen, sometimes that's my dinner when I get home.
Oh man, we did Mike. Remember we did the episode on Saturday morning cartoons? We did a whole thing on the cereal, like favorite cereal types, and I would tell the story that my mom went and bought these cheapest plastic bowls she could get. They were like this tall, and my brother and I would fill the bowl, and you had to hold your hand over it, and you would pour the milk between your thumb and your finger, so it wouldn't push the damn cereal out of the bowl, so you could eat it.
Oh yeah.
Honest to God, yeah. Oh man, good times.
It's Quist.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I love Quist. Quist was like Captain Crunch, only it wasn't sharp.
Yeah, it didn't butcher your mouth.
No.
Like your razor blades. Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, hey, I got a quick 30-second clip here from Seinfeld. So real quick, I'll just pull that up here for us.
We'll be back. Could be fun. Don't have to worry about your meals or what you're going to do Saturday nights. And they do shows. Yeah, we could put on a show. Maybe Bye Bye Birdie or My Fair Lady. Yeah, Elaine. You could be Liza Doolittle.
Why don't you just blow it out your
Yeah, so even walking into the jail cell, it's just like every other episode, setting changes, context stays the same,
Yeah.
Just good stuff. Yeah. All right. So weaving back through here. Here's one, never saw the final episode. Never saw it.
Oh.
I was, so did they kind of wrap things up neatly? What did they do? Did everyone go their own ways? What did they do?
No, they I don't. Mike, did you ever watch it?
And I'm not a Friends fan just because I despise David Schwimmer. My favorite episode of NYPD Blue is the one with him in it, but it's the one where he gets shot and killed in it. Yeah, I mean, Philip, my son loves Friends, and Juanita watches it occasionally, and it's a decent show, but just that you have to endure him. I always I told Philip that had I ended the show, a spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it. Rachel goes to leave for Paris, and she's going to get on a plane, and they always wonder, oh, is she on the plane? Then she shows up, and everything's happy. I would have done it where Ross goes to the airport, gets on the plane, finds out that Rachel has gotten off the plane, and as they take off, as they take off, he says to somebody, it's okay, I'll just call her when we land. And then the loudspeaker comes on and somebody yells, Allah Akbar. And I'm like, oh, what a great ending, because Ross is dead. But yeah, it was
Okay. Can we reel it back in, Mike?
Here we go.
Mike.
Strap in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Good.
Okay.
But it is.
No more mentioning Julia Roberts or David Schwimmer. Oh my God.
That'd be like when I die and go to hell, and I'm sure I'm going to hell, they'll have a movie theater in hell, but it'll be a movie starring Julia Roberts and David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer. It'll be like $1. It'll be like $1 theater, so everyone keeps coming back too. Mike.
Right. Actually, the way that they ended it was pretty sweet because Monica and Chandler get married and they have infertility issues, so they wind up getting a surrogate mom who wound up having twins. They didn't realize they were going to have twins, so it did wrap up very well. The thing that I love about it most, especially since of Chandler's passing, what is his name? Matthew Perry. He asked the producers, because I've watched some documentaries, and he wrote it in his book before his passing, that he wanted to end the series by saying the last line. And he did.
Oh.
And
really?
So, yeah, because what happens is that they wind up moving out of the apartment. They all of them get together. They meet the new babies and everything, and everything's all happy, go lucky. And they're leaving the apartment, and they said, well, do you have some time for some coffee? Because they're not living in the city. They're living out. They're not going to be around each other anymore. And he goes, sure. And then the last word is, where? Of course, you're going to go to Central Perk because it was right below where the apartments were. And that was the end of it. You see them walking off with the babies, going to get coffee, right where it started. So it was Matthew Perry's idea to do that.
Well, and they all had decent jobs except for Ross. He was a paleontologist. What was he digging up dinosaurs?
He worked at the Natural Museum. Is what?
Plus, he had a child that he just abandoned.
A monkey,
right? He had a kid. He had a monkey he just abandoned.
Hey, that monkey was a movie star. That movie was it. He was
Outbreak for a long time.
Yeah, that monkey from Outbreak.
That monkey was the most successful Friends person at the box office. But
my God, no, maybe that. Yeah,
I will acknowledge here it's a good show. I try to watch the Rossless episodes.
Well, it was a nice show. My wife watched it an awful lot. She was a huge fan of it. I could sit and watch it, but I could take her or leave it. I would never seek it out. It was never, Yeah. A couple comments pertaining to that too. It says, let's see. Yeah, Joey was the last to leave the apartment, and he heads to L.A. And there weren't any successful spin-offs of this show, were there? I think they're all just kind of.
Joey lasted maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
It was him and Drea De Matteo from The Sopranos, Adriana. But they got that Friends money. They're making $1 million a week. If they saved up, they're all set for life.
And Mark Ames said
Jennifer Aniston had the best post Friends career.
Yeah.
A couple of them,
film career, really,
yeah. Courtney Cox, she's of the Scream franchise.
Yeah, they do things, but Jennifer Aniston is really the one that really blocked them afterwards.
Yeah, she really did. Yeah, you're right. And still, I think the last thing I saw her in was probably Horrible Bosses 1 and 2. And man, did she play a risque role in those films?
Yeah, she was pretty good. Yeah, she was good in that.
You watch her in that, and Friends comes back on, and you're like, you can't look her in the eye. Yeah, really?
Yeah, that is not Rachel Green. And she did a movie for Dolly Parton called Dumpling, which was on Netflix. And she plays the mother of an overweight child or daughter, and who's trying to get into a pageant. And she was kind of harsh in that, but it was very good. It's probably one of my favorites with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, she's become a very good actress.
Yeah.
I mean, she always was, but I mean, she's branched out, and she doesn't, she's famous enough that she can be picky. She doesn't have to rush and do what was the the monkey that played third base movie, Ed. You know, that Matt LeBlanc did. It's like
Matt LeBlanc did.
Yeah.
Matt LeBlanc, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about Sopranos?
Oy vey.
I've been in that booth. I've sat in that seat.
Have you really?
Yeah. I had a picture when we went to the Vineyard. Then we went to New York. We drove over to New Jersey to Holstein's. It's a little restaurant there, and I was like, "Where's the Sopranos booth?" And they pointed. And I got a picture of me sitting like I'm looking at the jukebox, like James Gandolfini did. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. My butt cheeks were next to where James Gandolfini's were.
And he's never washed those pants ever again.
Those butt cheeks, right?
and those onion rings. Those onion rings are delicious. So
yeah.
Shout out to them, man.
Nothing wrong with that. And again, I thought it was a pretty ingenious ending. People could really kind of take it or leave it, I want to say, but it's what you would almost expect in a gangster movie, because all the gangster movies, and of course, right away I have to go to like Goodfellas. You know, the line that says, "I knew he was a cop." You know why? Because I could hear him. If it was a good guy or a good fella, you'd never hear him coming. You wouldn't even know that they were there. And that's pretty much the way this ended.
That's and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what the producers wanted, if I'm not saying. But anyway, that's what they kind of figured out, because you never knew when it was going to happen.
Yeah, I think they left it up to you, the viewer, to decide what do you
conjecture.
What do you want to happen? Did you want Tony to be killed and he was killed? Do you want everything to be good? And
pretty ingenious way to end
it. It is, yeah.
I got a quick clip here with the interview as to how the writer came up with, or when he came up with the ending. Let me pull this up for you guys.
In which Tony comes back from a meeting in New York in his car. You know, at the beginning of every show, he came from New York into New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And the last scene was going to be him coming from New Jersey back into New York for a meeting at which he was going to be killed.
And when did the alternative ending first? Do you remember when it occurred to you? Yeah. But not like it's not the kind of thing where sometimes I've spoken with showrunners who say, I know at the beginning exactly how my show's going to end, or by season 3 or whatever. It sounds like when you were writing, you like to stay 6 scripts ahead of where you were in the action.
Yeah, but I think I had this notion. I was driving down Ocean Park Boulevard near the airport, and I saw a little restaurant. It was kind of like a shack that served breakfast. And for some reason, I thought, Tony should get it in a place like that.
That's pretty much the vision that he ended up going in that final episode. You know, just
wow, just
Green Goes Black.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody chimed in and says David Chase took off to Paris because of the backlash of that final scene. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that were kind of like. I remember I was working with a doctor who was just so much into The Sopranos, and I worked the next day with him. He looked at me, and before we even started working, he looked at me and said, "What the hell?" I went, "I have nothing to do with it. I don't know what happened." You know. He's like, "What happened to Tony?" Dude, I don't know. There's a lot of pissed off people.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're kind of slowly coming to an end here. In the same vein, so another pretty wild ending. This one had much more dramatics to it than say The Sopranos. Instead of just that quick, neat boom, leave it to conjecture. Here, everything with Breaking Bad that you thought you knew, as to why all this was happening. In the end, he's like, "Hey, you know why I did it? I didn't do it for you. I did it because I liked it." And that just kind of blew me away that he said that. It really kind of put the turn on. And of course, he goes out, in a blaze of gunfire and everything else at the end, which I think we all expected that to happen. Yeah, very much.
He's
so.
got a tattoo. Did you know this? He's got a tattoo, and I think it's on this finger, but it's the Breaking Bad logo in the squares. And
Does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe got a couple in the holster there tonight, Janie.
Yeah.
Pretty good there. Man, very much so.
What
Yeah.
is this, Nate? Did you catch that or not?
Hold on, let me pull you up here, buddy. Solo layout.
Nice.
That's good. That's good.
Nice.
I like that.
And I played Don't Stop Believing. So yeah.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, Breaking Bad just, I mean, we didn't watch it till after it ended.
Same with me. Yep.
Yeah, it was a COVID binge, and it's just it was never even the worst episode was like better than most things I've ever seen on television. And Bryan Cranston, just such a great actor. So yeah, and then he even came back and he showed up in what Better Call Saul, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they've done like cast reunions already. I want to say last year, I think they did one, and there's talks of doing another one now. I guess. So yeah. Hey, quite the following. And Better Call Saul. I never saw much of Better Call Saul. Love some of the actors in it, but I never did sit and watch it all the way through.
Oh, it's very good, very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got one. Actually, technically, I have two left. The one I'm going to end it on a little bit of some input from everyone. You guys at home, you guys here on the show. But again, trying to stay with current. Sorry about that. Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory. One of my wife's favorite shows, I would say, in the last probably 7 or 8 years.
See, that's why I love your wife, because that's why I love your wife. She's awesome. I love this show. This show was a binge for me during COVID. And it's so cerebral.
And it's
with
good
some of the writing.
We all kind of recognize ourselves in there.
Well, you know what?
All kind of, with cars or movies or stuff that we follow. We're all little nerds in our own little way.
Absolutely.
And it was, it's kind of, I want to say, I don't know, not pleasing, or I don't know, coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to be that way now. And this show kind of really enlightened that, because I can remember, being a huge Star Wars nut. Like as a young adult, you didn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, really? Come on, Star Wars, or with Jaws, or whatever. With superheroes, I was a huge superhero. Loved reading the comic books and stuff, but when you were 20 years old, you didn't do that kind of. That was stupid kid stuff. And so, not that you had to hide it, but I didn't publicize it. And it was funny how it's out in the open. I mean, you find it everywhere.
Okay, I mean, according to social society, that's kid stuff. You're an adult now. You don't make it known that is your passion. And Sheldon and Leonard and Raj and Howard, they brought that to the forefront and go, well, okay, we're geniuses, but we still like that stuff. So it was a show of saying, this is who you are. Be your true self. Yeah.
And for the most part, they weren't living in basements. Well, one was for a bit of the show, but some of them were pretty successful.
But then there was one was living with his mother. Howard was living with his mother.
Living with his mother, and was an astronaut. So
was an astronaut. So
yeah.
Yep. Never thought. What is it that Sheldon's mom said? You sure that he broke up with a girl? Leonard says, yeah, not something you boys whipped up in a lab, like a real girl.
Well, who was it that had remember the episode with the mechanical arm?
That was Howard.
Was that Howard?
It was Howard. They had built it. It was like a robot, and he decided, and they had to take him to the ER because it stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a hold of him. That's all more I'm going to say.
Yeah, go watch the episodes, and you'll find out.
Yes. That was a great episode. Yeah. A couple of people chiming in here said, "Oh, it was a stupid ending." However, Nobel Peace Prize was won. I thought it was a pretty good ending, and I thought it was neat that at the end, as he wins the Nobel Peace Prize, that then he turns around and pays, his homage to his best friends, the people that helped make him who he was.
Yeah, and if I don't know if he's ever watched Young Sheldon, but that was what had drove him, was to win that. So it started with Sheldon when he was very young, and that's what drove him to do that. And as a little boy in Young Sheldon, he was very reserved, being from a family in Texas. They weren't as smart, they were very rural. And here he is now, a genius that has many friends. He's a husband now, and the way that they ended it, Young Sheldon, really ties in with Big Bang, and I enjoyed that.
Well, good.
Yeah. Well, we are about at the end of the rope, so I have a question to wrap up, rather than a discussion, but literally a question. So I'm going through all these shows and trying to pick things that seem, I should say, more relevant to myself, but I think to us as a whole, things we can all kind of hit on and touch on. My question is, how do you think this is going to end? How are the Simpsons? Now you think about it. This is what the longest running TV show of all time. I want to say that's what it is, right? Not even animated, just TV show of all time. What, 30 some seasons or whatever? How on earth do you bring this to a fitting end that, I don't know, maybe shows closure, maybe ties up things, or maybe loose ends, and that leaves people satisfied?
Oh God, I don't know.
How does this one go?
I don't know. I mean, the good thing about it being animated is that they never have to age. So, you can just go run indefinitely until just one day it just ends. But
I thought about this many ways. Where could it go? How would the Simpsons?
I think if they ended, they do another Simpsons movie.
That would be good.
I think the movie would be the finale.
Bookend it.
Yeah.
And the first one was a good movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard at Homer on that big ball. The what is it? The wrecking ball, and it's between a rock and a hard place. Don't.
I have a stuffed spider pig downstairs. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Spider pig.
Spider pig.
Whatever a spider pig does.
Can he swing on a web? No, he can't. He's a pig.
Yeah. So does it end with Homer choking the crap out of Bart one more time? Does like just another day?
Maybe
Homer kills Bart. He gets arrested by Chief Wiggum.
What is it? What is the guy that owns the plant? Who is that?
Oh, Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns finally croaks and leaves it in Homer's hands.
Yeah.
And Smithers has to work for Homer.
My only request would be that Adam West shows up in the final episode, because Adam West in The Simpsons was just hysterical. He really was. Really,
and that's a show that had a lot of great cameos from a lot of people. From Paul McCartney, Elizabeth Taylor,
three Beatles.
Yeah.
Anyone and everyone.
Dustin Hoffman, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and some that showed up more than once or twice.
Yeah.
Chelsea Grammer, Sideshow Bob. Yeah.
Sideshow Bob. I love Sideshow
Bob. Yeah. Yeah. You know who else I really liked though was, what was the janitor's name? The Scottish janitor.
Oh, Willie.
Willie.
He was hilarious.
He and Ned Flanders, every time they took their shirt off, they were like,
they're all flipped up.
Like superheroes. Yeah.
Oh. And the captain. Who was the peg leg captain? He was in a million episodes too. In fact, he almost like a Quint-like character,
Yeah.
He was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So what did it end? Would Bart become a Homer Simpson? Would Bart have his own kids? Would he beat the daylights out of his own kids? What would he do? What do you think, Janie? How would you end it? Let me ask you that. You're the writer.
I don't know.
How are you going to wrap this show up?
Oh God! Actually,
I
kind of think that maybe Bart might become an educator.
Yeah, be a teacher. He's causing
He'd be
so
a
much,
teacher at the
so much
school.
aggravation.
Yeah. He wrote on the chalkboard for so damn long, he'd become an educator. He'd be a teacher.
That's an interesting twist. I like that. Wow. Yeah. Complete role reversal. All right.
Role reversal, and then but still have the antics. He'll be like you, Nate.
I'll take that. Yeah.
There you go. And Lisa will finally become president because she always thinks that she is. Yeah, and then I guess Maggie will just rule the world. There you go.
No one will realize it. Yeah, neither one. What about you, Mike? What would you do to end it?
I like Janie's idea of Bart being a teacher.
I do too.
Maybe they kind of switch things. Like something doesn't go right for Lisa, or so she has to move back home, and Bart's like teacher of the year, and Maggie's your typical high school kid.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Lisa kind of looks like her aunts Patty and Selma with the cigarette, and just with the voice. Yeah.
And Homer's hanging out at the bearded clam.
There you go.
He's hanging out with Peter and the gang.
That's another Family Guy team up, which was fun. I like that. I love that.
Crossover. That'd be cool.
The crossover was when Bart's showing Stewie how to make prank phone calls. And he calls Moe's. He goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for Mr. Butt,
Amanda,
or Amanda Hug and Kiss." And
Hug and Kiss.
Moe's like, "Why can't I find Amanda Hug and Kiss?" And they hang up. And Stewie says, "Well, let me try it." And he calls. And he goes, "It's Moe's." He goes, "Hello, Moe. Your sister's being raped." And he slams the phone down. And Bart just like stares at him like, that's not how it works.
I went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Did I do it? Did I do it right, Brian? Did I do it?
Well, I gotta say, you guys, we put together a good wrap up there.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was good.
And it's got some dynamics going on there. Yeah, awesome. Someone's chiming in. Oh, Matt's chiming in. Drinenberg, I never knew there was a Stewie Bart crossover. Yeah, you got to watch it.
Yeah, a few years ago, the season premiere of Family Guy, they go for a road trip, and their car breaks down outside of Springfield, and they meet Homer, and they go stay with them, and Meg hooks up, with Lisa, and they all kind of find different people to hang around, but it was fun. It was fun.
Did you see what Mark Ames put on here?
Not yet. No.
All of her clothes off.
Yeah.
Oh, who else?
They're naming some of the people. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Alcoholic.
You should just run a clip of all of them.
I pee freely. Yeah.
I'm looking for a man with last name of Butts, first name Seymour. Is there a guy in there with the name of Seymour Butts?
Why can't I find Seymour Butts? Why can't I find Amanda Hug and Kiss? And Barney says, maybe your standards are too high. Yeah, it's like,
oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Isabella ringing. Yeah,
Isabella ringing.
Chiming in. What's the different one? Yeah.
Ivana Tingle is another one.
Oh my gosh. And if you guys ever go to Universal, go to Moe's Bar.
I want to.
You're there. You can walk in. They got craft beer on tap. It's awesome.
Do they serve Flaming Moe?
You can buy a Flaming Moe, yes.
Yeah.
And you can buy Duff's beer, and it's a local craft brewer. It's really like I thought it was going to be like Coors Light. It was like really good local craft brewer. They had 3 different types, and then right next door is the redneck restaurant. What's it called? Beaks and what was it? Like I don't know, Beaks and like I don't know, wings or something like that, and everything on the menu was like straight out of Jed's or Jethro's or whatever his name was. Vocabulary. Honest to God, it was hilarious. It was like chicken wings and fingers and stuff. But yeah, really good, really great place to go visit. Yeah. Matt's saying I'm approaching 3 years sobriety, but a Flaming Moe. They have them. Go check them out. Yeah. I had that before I had a butter beer when I was there. I had to go to Moe's. Yeah, cool place. Well, all right, guys. That's what I have for us tonight.
That was a fun show.
That was a fun show. I love what you guys came up with there on the last topic. Yeah.
There is one I want to mention real quick, but one of my other favorites that we didn't mention was the ending of ER with George Clooney.
Oh, yeah. When he came back.
When he came back.
When he returned,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, the ending of The Office with Steve Carell came back.
When Steve Carell came back.
That's nice when they, these guys that went on to kind of remember where they started and, because he didn't have to. Steve Carell didn't have to come back.
No.
And he came back and, right back in the character. And the show ended with the same uncertainty that it started. And I wasn't even going to, you saw the Office clip. I just thought I'd leave it at her because then I wouldn't shut up. But, I mean, it ended with the idea that the paper company was thought not doing very good. Jim left his profitable business in Philadelphia to come back to, a dying paper company. And yeah, you're exactly right. And fabulous. I thought it was a great ending. Like that was one of those shows that I was getting half emotional getting to the end of that show. It was just neat the way they tied certain things up and the way some of it was going to keep on going. And they just okayed. They've got another Office coming out.
Yes, I saw that.
Ooh.
They're going to start production July.
I think so. Pretty soon. Yeah.
All new cast, and this is not going to be a paper company. It's going to be a floundering newspaper company. That's going to be all new actors. They did name some of the actors. I didn't know names, but you know me with names. So, but it's all the original writers. I would imagine you're going to have some people show up and do some cameos and stuff. I can't imagine they would.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, all right. That's what I got. Unless anyone else wants to add anything in there.
No. Good week. Nice meeting.
Everybody here in the States have a great and safe Memorial Day weekend. It is the start of the summer.
Yes. Go out, have some good food, get some grilling in. Don't come back waving to me like this next week. Okay.
Don't give in to the population. Do not take away from the population. Keep all 10 toes and 10 fingers.
I don't want to see any people on here on the Darwin Awards page on Facebook next week.
We watched your show. This is what happened.
Yeah. Remember, nothing good comes out of, hey, look what I can do.
or hold my beer.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you for a wonderful show. Thank you guys here, you guys at home. Hope you have a great holiday weekend. We'll be back with some Jaws fun in about a week. All right, guys. Take care.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.